Well, our next guest, I mean, you might find him at Costco during the Super Bowl on Sunday night because that's how little he cares about American football. He's more of a football guy. That's Nick Haines, Kansas City PBS. Hello, Nick. Good morning. How are you? Happy Monday.
Well, happy Monday to you, Pete. We are talking about the game, of course, where people actually do use their feet to actually move the ball from one place to another instead of carrying, throwing, or tossing it with their hands.
Hey, don't tell that to Harrison Butker. Don't tell that to Harrison Butker, okay? I'll put him up against any of your, soccer guys there. Well, Nick, I wanted to bring you on because the big announcement yesterday for the World Cup is that there's going to be 6 games here in Kansas City. And, you're our, I guess, resident soccer expert, and you sound like it as well. As I said, people are going to tune in. They're going to hear soccer talk and your accent and think it's the BBC. So how big of a deal is this for Kansas City?
There's always lots and lots of hype with anything like this, and I am as skeptical as anyone else, but I do believe this is, in the words of Will Ferrell in Anchorman, this is kind of a big deal. This is a political story, Pete. This is an economic story. It's a cultural story, a sports story, and it's a Kansas City story. We're going to be getting 6 games, including a quarterfinal game. And as you know, just by the very nature of a quarterfinal, that means only 4 cities can host one of those. We are one of them. Remember also, by the way, St. Louis, the Denvers of the world, Minneapolises, the Chicagos are not even in this. This is a very special deal. We even beat out cities like Houston and Philadelphia, much larger cities than us, to get a quarterfinal match. We were punching above our weight on this. And the other thing to think about is just the sheer scope now. Now we can actually see what this is going to be about. Unlike, say, bringing an all-star game to Kansas City or an NFL draft, which may last, 2 or 3 days, 4 days, this is going to be a 26-day experience in Kansas City, starting on June 16th. So you can pencil that in your calendar, June 16th, 2026, when that whole World Cup roadshow heads to town.
Now, Nick, have you, just out of curiosity, ever been to a World Cup in your life?
I have not been to a World Cup itself, but I have been to European matches where the England, or in my case, I'm from Wales, have played. And I'll tell you this is one quick example here of what we're talking about. My daughter, who is at KU, went to Seville to study last year. And we went out to see her, our sister city in Spain. And while we got to the airport, it was overrun with Scottish fans. My daughter, who had been in Seville, Spain for months, was shocked. She had never seen the place as gridlocked as it was. Scottish fans took over the entire city. They marched miles from the downtown area of Seville to the stadium on the outskirts of the city for miles with bagpipes, kilts. I mean, it was such an enormous scene. That's what actually happens, that kind of passion. And unlike, say, a Super Bowl or an NFL draft, you've got people who are going to be making their vacation plans right now to come out here and spend a week or so to be part of these experiencing. So they will be spending lots of cash while they're here.
Okay. Nick Haines, Kansas City PBS, is joining us on KCMO. Announced yesterday, Kansas City getting 6 World Cup matches in 2026. So, you noted and you mentioned the NFL draft. Nick, that was great for Kansas City, but to me, the bulk of that, it appeared, were just folks in Kansas City enjoying it. You are very much convinced that when the World Cup comes to town, this is going to be an international affair here.
Yeah, I do. I think it's very much a different audience. And I think that is the difference, why you get much more of a mixed reaction here of, I don't care about soccer. It is mainly intended for people perhaps not like you, mainly coming from other places. What will happen is we're going to have a 4 group stage matches here. And so for those countries that are going to be part of it, people will be looking to buy a package to see all of those group games. And so if it's Ecuador or Cameroon, all of those people are going to be coming in just to the city to come and see those games. They'll be buying a package. So they're not leaving the next day. They'll be here for an extended period of time. Think about this also, even first round games, which most of our games still are, if it's England who are coming here, you can expect heads of state to be here, the British Prime Minister to be here, top cabinet officials, perhaps a member of the royal family or two. Now, some people may think that's a good thing. I know not everyone will be big into that, but that's the kind of thing. So it's going to have that sort of you'll be shocked by the amount of attention it's going to get with all those foreign dignitaries. It'll shut down the city because also as part of the rules of FIFA, every one of those dignitaries, every FIFA official has to have a police escort with them. So never mind all these fans. You're going to be shut down at traffic intersections for long periods of time as diplomats and cabinet members move in and out of the city.
Wow. Maybe they can borrow Quentin Lucas's private security. How about that for a couple of days? Hey, imagine him rolling out the red carpet for all the dignitaries coming to town. He's going to he's going to love that, Nick.
Oh,
you know that.
Absolutely. So my view is, again, I was on Reddit last night, and it was just fascinating to me, even just in the United States, though, how many folks are already planning to come to Kansas City because they desperately want to see a World Cup game. They do not care what the country is, and they think Kansas City, because of its location, will be the cheapest place to have that experience. So yes, you've got all of these more, these more fashionable, more tourist-centric cities than us. But because we are the smallest city hosting this, the only one in the Midwest, they believe people think they're going to get much more of a bargain here. Unlike, for instance, the Super Bowl, which right now we're looking at tickets in excess of $6,000. There's a FIFA lottery system where you can get tickets, as low as $20 for some of these opening games. But again, most of them will go to the secondary market where you'd be paying, $300 a pop to get into Arrowhead Stadium by the time this winds around. The other thing to pay attention to, Pete, which I think has been lost here, because it is a global television experience. They're going to be working these times for these games to match what's happening in Europe mainly, but also in Africa and in Asia, which is a growing market for soccer. So you can expect these not to be night games. These are probably going to be in noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon games, for the most part, to make sure that that's in prime time in their main markets in Europe.
Okay, I thought you were going to tell me 6 a.m. games, which means 3 a.m. mimosas or something like that in the Arrowhead parking lot.
They haven't said that yet, so we don't know. So we don't know what teams are coming here, and actually we don't even know what those kickoff times are. But hey, that could be possible,
yeah.
Particularly when Beijing has become this big market that FIFA is trying to satisfy. They're 14 hours ahead of us. So, yeah, it might mean an early morning game to make that happen.
How about that?
Unlike, for instance, in many European places, though, including the last World Cup, which was in Qatar, where there was no alcohol in the stadium, or very little of it. And when we were in Spain, when Scotland played Spain, a lot of European tournament venues do not provide alcohol either. Because they're worried about fans. Here, they will find it a much more welcoming experience with a lot of alcohol being made available to them.
Well, Nick Haines, Kansas City PBS, my staff here is suggesting that Clark Hunt wants to get Germany here, and he talked about, they're laying the seeds, the foundation for that. The Chiefs played in Germany this past year. That would be a big coup if they could get Germany as kind of the anchor team here in Kansas City. What do you think about that?
I think, it's likely that, in those opening games, we're probably not going to get any of these marquee teams. The biggest, because they want the biggest stadiums, they want the biggest cities to be able to accommodate them. But I will say that in the next round, which we have another game plus a quarterfinal, all bets are off. We could be having, the Argentinas, the Germanys, the Englands, the Brazils coming here. And that's part of the scope of it all. If you have all these teams, where are they going to be? And you can see they all have to have their own facilities. They have to practice somewhere, which is why Kansas is a big part of this component here, where you've got Children's Mercy Park. They have a National Performance Center there. They're even talking about using Lawrence at the University of Kansas as potential areas for some of these teams so they can practice. That's why getting money, cash from Kansas lawmakers is going to be big right now. I know they want $32 million from the state of Kansas. Some Republican lawmakers saying, why would we ever support something that's happening on the Missouri side? Hell no. But they did give $1 billion in incentives to that Panasonic electric vehicle battery plant. And some Republican lawmakers say, boy, this would be a greater investment. This would be chump change, and we'd get more of a return.
Yeah. All right, Nick, last thing here in the next 30 seconds. You going to be watching the Super Bowl, or are you going to be at Costco on Sunday?
I have no choice. I have a family who does watch those things. So, yes, I will be watching. I promise you I won't be watching for how many times Taylor Swift is shown on screen. That will not be my reason for watching, other than to say I saw it and I can be part of that experience.
Very good. Hey, Nick, you're the best. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.
Hey, thanks for the opportunity. Bye, Pete.
All right. Nick Haines, Kansas City PBS.